I'm, as you can probably tell, not from the Northeast. I'm born and raised a Londoner until I moved here 2 years ago. My husband's from the Northeast, and it's a common theme from what I've experienced anyway. People either are born in the Northeast and never leave. They are born, they leave, but they always want to come back, and they bring their spouse with them. It was the right time for me to leave London. I've got small children. The schools here are amazing. We've got more space, time, money. In my 20s, I thought I'll never leave London, but I would never go back now that I've moved here. I'm much happier here working. I think it's much more supportive, less kind of competitive in a kind of dog-eat-dog way. It's made a huge difference for me and my quality of life moving here. So I wasn't always an oncologist. I actually started out as an acute medic, but what I realised during COVID, shift work was very difficult. I wasn't getting the continuity of care that I wanted, and so I actually changed to oncology as a specialty. I love the continuity of care. You build up a real relationship with patients and their families. And that can be, over a long period of time in some cases. I love how much it's changing. There's always something new to learn. So, even people who've been working with the specialty for a long time have got new things to learn. And I think, lots of people think it's a depressing specialty. I think especially as a junior, if you're working only in the inpatient setting, you're seeing patients who are the sickest. But actually, it's really humbling, and I think it's a real honour to look after people who are actually at their most vulnerable. No one ever wants to hear they've got cancer, but you can really empower patients to make decisions about the last months and years of their life. Sometimes patients obviously do incredibly well, and that's what you don't see when you're doing it as an inpatient, as a junior doctor. And, that's amazing when you see that. I have had some great mentors, so I've been able to do lots of stuff extracurricularly. So I've written a book. I write the Oncology exit exam as one of the trainees on the exam board. There's obviously lots of opportunities for research, which you can take it or leave it. Lots of trainees will do an out-of-programme experience, whether that's a PhD or an MD, or some of my colleagues have gone into work in the pharmaceutical side for a year. It's a very supported specialty to do out-of-programme things. Whether it's research or something else, there's lots of opportunities, and it's definitely encouraged. It's an amazing specialty for the teamwork. I think it's a very cohesive team. The office is a friendly place. Unlike some other places I've worked or other specialties, I feel like the consultants are all very approachable, so you'll be in and out of their offices. You'll chat to consultants who you may not work directly with, but I feel like everyone's there for advice. There is a good mentorship scheme, again, to get support, whether that's with your curriculum-based stuff or extracurricularly. And I think we do look out for each other. And I think you need that sometimes in a specialty where there is lots of emotional baggage, but it really is a really good team. We are all in it together. Before you decide to join the specialty, it's difficult to get a real feel for what it's like and what you might be asked to do. Showing you're interested and, doing a taste a week, joining clinics, joining meetings, because I think sometimes you just see the inpatient work, you don't really get a feel for the success stories and the team working and the positive side of oncology. It's really well supported. You'll never be asked to make a decision that you don't feel comfortable making. And that's true, all the way through to my level at ST6. It's very well supported. Here in the Northeast, and there's a few other centres in the UK, we have an early phase research unit. So there's the Bobby Robson unit in Newcastle. And that's where you're seeing like the real cutting edge. So new drugs coming through. And I think when you look back to the kind of 80s and 90s, we were using really bog standard chemotherapy drugs and patients weren't doing as well. And I think, lots of people will read about these poor prognosis, stage 4 ovarian cancer, poor prognosis, but actually things are changing, and you'll see patients with stage 4 cancer who you would have said, this is incurable, who'll be essentially in complete remission with a new drug. And this is true of things like immunotherapy, which is much more standard of care now. He'll come back, years later. I've had patients who've had stage 4 disease and come back with, they've had a baby, and they bring the baby to meet the team, and it's just absolutely incredible to see advances in care changing lives.